Hey traders from all over the world, it's Jeremy Alexander Newsom with a new candlestick video. I get a lot of requests about candlesticks as often these are the best ways to interpret and to analyze the market sentiment. This particular video is going to go over how to use shaved bottom and shaved top candles, and most specifically what to do after they gap and how to kind of extrapolate that intel. I think you're really going to like this video, and thank you so much for being here.
Hey traders from around the world. All right, it's me, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, back with another video on candlesticks. And we are actually here in the live trading room, and we're chatting with some traders. We're looking at some trades, and what we're doing right now is we're experiencing kind of an interesting period of the market where things are selling off really hard, strong bearish movement, and most of us are already locked in some really good profits for the day. So I want to kind of wait and see and be a little bit patient for the next hour or so. So I figured it'd be a great time to get a video in about a specific candle pattern that I think is really, really interesting. And it's not a pattern per se, as it is kind of like a singular candle, but this video was talking about shaved tops and shaved bottom candles. And I want to discuss what they are. I want to discuss how they form, and most importantly, their sentiment. And of course, from there, how to trade them, right? What to look for, how to approach them, why they're meaningful, so that we can have a really good piece in our toolbox, in our repertoire for trading. A lot of other candlestick videos out there for real life trading have been highly voted up by the people out there searching for information on inside candles and tweezer tops and tweezer bottoms. I think this one will be sufficient as well. So let's go look at one in particular. And this one, let me find a good shaved bottom and shaved top candle. I think Costco had one, but I know of one I can look at for sure if we can't find one on Costco. Yeah, here's one on Costco. So let's talk about what these mean and just kind of what they look like, because they do have a very specific meaning. So first and foremost, a shaved top is a shaved top bearish candle, and you have a shaved top bullish candle. Shaved top bullish. So there's two different kinds. The shaved top bearish candle, the open and high are the exact same. Now, to be textbook, shaved top and shaved bottom, they have to be the exact same. I'll put textbook. So if you're going to get like an absolute perfect shaved top candle bearish, you have the exact same high or low. I will say if you can't visually see a wick, then usually it's a really strong candle. Okay, and this one, all right, I'll just kind of copy and paste it, put it over here. So the open and the low are the exact same for a shaved, and this is actually going to be called a shaved bottom bullish candle. So you have a shaved top and a shaved bottom, and then if you're going to have a shaved bottom bearish candle, and you have a shaved top bullish candle. Kind of running out of space. Let me just move this to the white side a little bit. I could just do it on the whiteboard, but I always like just writing on the top of the charts. So the shaved bottom bearish candle is when the close and the low are the exact same. And shaved top bullish candle is when the high and close are the exact same. All right. Now let's talk about the sentiment. Very frequently, these candles will post after a gap. They usually come in after a gap. Now, not all the time, but pretty frequent. And what you're going to look for is a candle that has no wick. That's what your eyes are going to immediately search for. And the benefit of it is they give you incredible support and resistance. Let's talk about this candle right here. So this is a shaved bottom candle on Costco. This is a shaved bottom bullish candle. We can see that it's bullish because it is a white candle. I use black and white for my candles. If this was, you can use whatever color you want as long as you know what an up-day candle is. So this is an up-day bullish candle on Costco, and it's a shaved bottom candle. The reason it's a shaved bottom candle is because the open and the low are the exact same. And what you'll notice is they are textbook the exact same. So check it out. Go keep your eyes on the O and the L. So the open and the low. And what we're going to talk about is the sentiment. What does that mean when you get a shaved bottom candle? So you see the open and the O and the L, exactly the same number. What I love about shaved bottom candles is they present such a strong support. It doesn't mean that the support can't get broken by any means, but when you find these candles, it also helps you with one of the secrets that I shared in a webinar a while ago. The open of big bullish candles is often a support. So these candles, when you find a shaved bottom candle, will help you identify support even faster. Because if you're looking at it, there is no wick to be needed. You see the candle, and it's a very strong support. Let's talk about the sentiment of these candles, how they're formed. So if we're looking at Costco, what we see is we have a bearish candle, bearish candle, bearish candle, bearish candle, bearish candle. 5 bearish candles in a row. And when the stock gaps down at open, right, at open that day, what happens immediately is we can visually identify you have a lot of bearish traders buying to cover their position, and you have a lot of bullish traders who are buying to cover their position, and they do so immediately at open. Think about that for a moment. It's like a Black Friday deal at Best Buy, and people are just at the door. The second the door opens, they're running for the toaster. They want a toaster. They want toasted bread at a discount. So they're flooding the doors, running in. As soon as it opens, they're buying like crazy. They want themselves a new toaster. So that's what happens in a stock, is when a stock opens, bam, out the gate, people start buying it. They get so excited. They're pumped up. They're jazzed, and they are ready, and they are eager to buy. So the exact open of the day, the stock doesn't even flinch a penny lower before it starts running. Think about that. Doesn't even flinch a penny. Like at open, boom, start buying. That's a really strong sentiment. And when you find those, a shaved bottom bullish candle, it prevents and provides a very strong support. Anytime I find a shaved bottom candle, if I'm already in the trade bullish, my stop is going to go below that candle. So let's just say hypothetically, I got in bullish here, this bullish gap and go on Costco. And I was in bullish, and I held through this flag pattern, and then the shaved bottom candle comes in. My stop's going to go right below the low of that candle. If Costco closes below the low of this candle, I know for sure that this trend is about to reverse, because that's an incredibly powerful candle. So that's a shaved bottom bullish candle. All right. Shaved bottom bullish candle. So here's another one right there on Costco. And here's another one right here on Costco. And again, you can see that was a beautiful support right there. You know, it did close below, and the very next day it gapped up, which would have trapped some bears and stopped people out. It would have been a great place to try to get back into that trade. But these patterns don't happen very often. All right, so let's talk about a shaved top bearish candle. So here's a shaved top right here, and here's a shaved top. So what I want you to do is look at the O and the H. All right, so the O and the H are the exact same. See that? 239 and 239. I also really like it when it's a more expensive stock, because that tells me that people are even more excited about the trade. They're even more fired up. They're willing to spend hundreds of dollars per share. So shaved bottom and shaved top candles can happen very frequently on cheaper stocks, but they are harder on more expensive stocks. Because again, remember, on this day on Costco, as soon as the market opened, everyone started selling. Everyone. They didn't even flinch. And what's wonderful is if you are day trading and you see that, you have a great line in the sand for if the stock breaks down or breaks up. So at open, immediately start selling. You're going to say to yourself, okay, it's a shaved bottom, sorry, in this example, a shaved top candle on the daily chart so far. It's a retest gap. So there's no need for this stock to break above the high of this candle. If it does, it'll most likely fill this gap. Because again, a shaved top candle for the bears means people sold immediately at open. They didn't even hesitate a second. At open, highest price possible, they all start selling. So when you see those movements, those are really, really strong indications that the selling will continue. So again, when you're looking for shaved bottom or shaved top candles, that's the benefit. The benefit is thinking, oh man, there's a lot of selling out there and people are really, really excited about it. If I can see that candle, I'm expecting it to continue lower. Okay? So shaved tops and shaved bottom candles are beautiful, especially with the trend. So if you find a good bullish trend and you find a good shaved bottom candle, excellent place to be buying at that support and wonderful place to have stops. And again, in a scenario that if you do get stopped out, like in this situation right here, you do get stopped out and it immediately bounces and reverses. It's like, okay, well, that appears that that was a double bottom. So let's try to go back in and get back in long. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna delete this. If you want to take a screenshot of some of these definitions, feel free to pause the video, take a screenshot. I want to talk about the flip side. So I want to talk about shaved top bullish candles and shaved bottom bearish candles. Because these are interesting, really underappreciated candles that give you phenomenal sentiment, usually for the next day. I love these candles for day trading. And it might not be what you think. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this. These are tricky. Because a shaved bottom and a shaved top candle, so shaved bearish bottom and a shaved top bullish. Let's go find an example. I'm gonna see if I can find one on Costco, and doesn't look like I can find one there. I know where there's some. Okay. All right, here's one right here. So this is not a textbook, meaning it's not perfect, but it's very close. So what I'm looking for is a shaved top bullish candle. Keep your eyes peeled on the close and the high, the H and the C. So if I hover over this candle, you'll notice the H and the C are almost identical. The H, which stands for high, is 171.38, and the close is 171.36. Remember, folks, the analysis that I'm giving you right now works on any market. This is swing trading, day trading, futures, forex, commodities, cryptocurrencies, doesn't matter. So a shaved top candle. Although this is not perfect, visually I can't see a wick. Type in a 1 if you agree. I can't look at it and I can't go, oh yeah, there's a wick up there. I have to hover over it to see a wick, but right now I can't really see one. So, I'm not really stressed about it. I'm assuming that's going to be a shaved top. So even though it's not textbook, it's not perfect, it's a really good shaved top candle. What's interesting about shaved top candles is this. You, like 88% of the time, will get a higher move the next day, but it will retest. Large percentage of the time. So what we have to do is figure out why. So think about the sentiment, okay? You have a shaved top candle. What that means is the stock was being bought up, and towards the end of the day, people got so excited about that toaster at Best Buy. They were so fired up that they couldn't wait. They were buying it. They were there right as the market was closing, buying with both hands, excited. As the market was closing, they were still buying, man. They were so pumped up, fired up, and excited. They were buying. Do you think that emotion would carry on through the rest of the night? Yes or no? And the answer is yes. Very often you will get that continuation for the rest of the night. You'll get people going, oh man, I'm so excited about this buying. I'm so fired up right now. I'm so excited and jazzed and pumped. They're buying. Right as the market closes, they're still buying, and then it continues on to the next day. So you get that shaved top candle. But the problem with shaved top candles is there's so much buying that happens that people are really excited to take their profits pretty soon. So when I see a bullish shaved top candle, I usually look for the fade the next day. I'm usually looking to play the downside because I'm expecting a bullish surge in the morning, but if the stock gaps up the next day, right? If it gaps the next day, all of those people who bought will be profitable. They will be excited that they're profitable, and then they will be selling. So when you get a shaved top bullish candle, these are phenomenal signs to say, all right, well, we're probably going to continue a little bit higher, but I'm not buying right here. If you're not already in, you missed the move. So when I see a shaved top candle, I expect this exact pattern to happen, and I will always be planning to buy on a retest. I will buy the S curve. A shaved top candle gives me so much insight that the retest is likely coming because it usually is an exhaustion move. They happen with tons of volume, right? So a lot of volume will come in, and people will get really excited about the trade. And again, they're buying all the way up till the close. They buy the next day, they run the price up, and then everyone starts to sell and lock in profit. What's really interesting on these candles is, I can't find an example right now, but this is very close to an example. So I'm gonna move the candles charts over a little bit, and let's just say, let's say that this is a shaved top candle, the one I'm pointing to with the red arrow. It's not exactly a shaved top candle, but it's close, right? So the high was 167.12 and the close was 167.07. I can visually identify a wick right there, right? I can visually identify a wick. So it's not a perfectly shaved top candle, but I love it when a shaved top candle gaps down the next day, right? When I get a good gap down the next day on a shaved top candle, how many people do you think are trapped? And here's even cooler news. How many people do you think are recently trapped? Because remember, in order to get a shaved top bullish candle, they have to be buying kind of right at the close of the day, right? They got to be buying right at the close. So you have people recently trapped. They bought right at the end of the market close, and as soon as the market opens, you know, they are trapped. They're losing money. So they didn't have to wait a full 24 hours to be losing money. So I love it when a shaved top candle gaps down. But a candle pattern like this, see, this candle pattern and this candle pattern are entirely different, because this one is not a shaved top. There are people, even barely, but there are people at the end of the day selling. There is an upper shadow that is created. Someone in the world is trapped right there. And I like that. I like looking for wicks. Wicks tell me where the stock price has gone at one point or another, and that's a really good indication that someone's either buying or selling. So in this particular situation, this gap is two totally different things, right? These are two totally different candles in my opinion. On this day, I'm certainly looking at playing a bullish retest, and on this day, I'm probably gonna be playing the fade and looking for the roll down. So the question then is, do I play shaved bottom bearish candles the same way? And the answer is yes. So let me go look at the most recent shaved bottom candle that I can think of. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there, but I'm gonna go look at Apple. And what the time frame I'm gonna look at might surprise you a little bit, but let's go look at Apple. All right. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to turn on the weekly chart. All right, so here's a weekly chart on Apple, and I'm gonna hide the draw, you know, I'll hide all the candles for a moment. So let's look at a few of these candles. So we have a shaved bottom candle here, a shaved bottom candle here, and a shaved bottom candle here. You also have one here, and yeah, there's a few. So those are 4 shaved bottom candles on Apple. And I don't know if they are textbook or not. Let's find out. The close and the low, yep, this week right here, perfect shaved bottom candle. So remember, that means that people were selling all the way up to market close. They were just selling the whole time. And what's interesting is when you're looking at a weekly chart, that means that on Friday, the last day of the week, they were just selling, couldn't get enough, selling all day, and the whole week ends down with a shaved bottom candle. Why is that beneficial? What does that mean? What is the sentiment? Well, remember, if I see a shaved bottom candle, am I excited about a bearish move? Yes, but I am going to wait for a retracement first, because all of the people who have already sold probably have already sold. Think about it. I mean, you've already had tons of selling coming in. You've had an immense amount of selling, and I'm not really that excited about selling once I know a bunch of people have already sold. I want to do the opposite of what other people have done. So what you'll notice over here is that it actually never even went lower, which is a bullish signal, right? You had a shaved bottom and it never even went lower, not even remotely. So here's a rule that I love. When a bearish shaved bottom candle gaps down on whatever time frame, I highly expect a retest. So just like the shaved top candle, a bullish shaved top candle that gaps up, when I have a bearish shaved bottom candle gapping down, I am not going to play that initial gap down. I'm going to expect it to retest before it rolls over. And that will help you with your sentiment. That really will revolutionize your trading. Because check this out. Look at, this was again on a weekly chart on Apple. If well, let me kind of back up for a second. The fact that Apple is breaking below the 100 simple moving average, I've already received some pretty high notability and credibility out there in the markets because I told everyone not to buy at the 100. Everywhere I went, I was like, do not buy off the 100 unless you do it very, very short term. And I will say, I did try to buy off of the 100 just to see if it was going to work, but it didn't. Once it broke that 100 and I knew we got stopped out, I was like, okay, guys, Apple is going to go much lower. What's beautiful about this is we can see bearish shave bottom candle gapped down on a weekly chart, which means Friday to Monday, it gapped down. And what did it do? Very beautiful retest. Similar move over here, right? You can actually see that the bearish candle actually gapped up, traded down, and then retested. So it went higher because when you have a shave bottom candle, everyone is already in. They've already sold short. They've already made money on the downside. So you're a little late to the party. If you're not already in bearish, well, sorry. And what's interesting, again, this is on a weekly chart, you'll notice that we have a shaved bottom candle here on Apple, a shaved bottom bullish candle. So it appears that Apple is going to be breaking that shaved bottom candle, just like it broke this shaved bottom and it broke that shaved bottom. So if I have a shaved bottom bullish candle and we are taking those candles out, is that a sign that Apple is going to go lower? And the answer is yes. That's a very strong sign because, again, you have really, really wonderful support levels, and the warning sign really happened when you took out this candle, and then when you took out this candle, I mean, that was it. You knew you were going to come down to the 100 simple on the weekly and potentially roll down. So shaved bottom candles, they can occur on a weekly chart. They can also occur on a daily chart. This is, again, a really, really beautiful example. So check this out on right here. Look at that shaved bottom candle on Apple, right? No lower shadow. So when the stock gapped down the next day, what did it do? It retested. Yeah, exactly. It traded down, gapped down, and retested. And the crazy part is, I was so certain that was going to happen. I'll pull up the article that I created. And I do this every month, and this is the fall portfolio. This is the second edition. And so I'm just going to pull it up, just kind of show you. This was published back on December 10th, 2018. And I'm just going to scroll down to Apple and kind of show you, okay, I believe it's this one right here. The bears have won for now, breaking the support. So you'll notice it's kind of a little hard to see on this image. I wonder if I can zoom in. It's okay. So what you'll notice is my thoughts. I knew this was a shaved bottom candle at the time. And as I was writing this, I could tell Apple was going to be gapping down. All right, so I knew Apple was gapping down. This was at 168. So when Apple gapped down, based on that shaved bottom candle, I was able to elaborate the fact that it was gap down, trade higher, like that's the blue line, and then roll over. Purely based on the candlesticks, right? I mean, obviously you have a bearish trend. I mean, so we're it's going lower. It's a strong bearish trend. But you have that shaved bottom candle, and if you hop over here and I turn the drawings back on, I actually kept the blue line on. This is the same exact blue line, and you'll see it just kind of trade up, rotate it over, and then just roll it over. So what's also cool is you'll notice this shaved top candle on Apple. It's not a textbook shaved top. Right here, it's not perfect. So the high is 174.78 and the close is 174.72. So by 6 pennies, it's not a shaved top candle. It's not absolute perfection, but it's pretty close. And we can see that almost a shaved top candle, and then it gapped down the next day. That was a really good sign that it would continue lower. And then again, here's almost a shave top candle. Gapping up was a fade. But here's a beautiful one. This right here was a shave top candle. Right, check that out. The high, 184.92, and the close was 184.82. So again, almost a perfect shave top, almost textbook. Looking at it like that, I can't tell there's an upper shadow. I can't visually see it. I'm looking at a really big screen, and I can't tell there's a wick. So if I can't tell, the fact that it opened below the low of that candle, I knew Apple was done. That was a no-brainer short, December 4th. So right now, 154.12 is the next stop on Apple, and then probably most likely as low as 141.88. And that will kind of drag the market down as well. If Apple keeps going down, the markets will likely keep going down. So what questions do I have? For those who are here live, if you have any questions, let me know. But those are really it. What I'm looking for, when I look for day trades, I love being able to kind of spot and find out if there's a shaved bottom or shaved top, because it really can help me find the sentiment of the chart. So that's why I did not take Philip Morris yesterday. So here's Philip Morris. This was a bearish gap, and you can see it's a shaved bottom candle, and it gaps down. I just did not trade that yesterday. I looked at it. I wanted to. I thought about it. I just never did because I expected more of a retest, right? I expected that shaved bottom candle to gap down, trade up, and then roll over. That's why I mentioned about 88% of the time. It's certainly not a perfect science. Nothing is in trading, but it realistically and truly can help you. And even if you didn't take that trade, which again, I didn't, we can still go, okay, that's fine. You missed the trade, no big deal. But there will be a time or an instance where it certainly will help. I also like it because if I know that a candle is not a shaved bottom or shaved top, similar to this right here. So you have a very nice kind of a cute lower shadow on Philip Morris. You get an evening star reversal pattern right here, and it's gapping down below all that support. That was a beautiful bearish retest gap. And it's okay when a candle has a lower shadow. In fact, I like it when you do gap small like this above a bunch of upper shadows, right? So you can see, let me make that circle a little bit better. So these upper shadows right here, we're gapping above those upper shadows, right? You have 1, 2, 3, and we're kind of gapping above. That's a very, very nice retest gap right there on Philip Morris, and would have been a good one to kind of play. Here's a shaved top candle right here. This hammer on the 19th of July. So that shaved top candle did gap down, right? Retested, continued, pulled back, trade up, and then retested all the way down again. Because again, based on this candle, you could have a high degree of certainty that yes, the bulls are going to come in, right? You're going to get some buying, but we will retest that level because of that shaved top candle. So many people were so zealous and buying it as quickly as they can that they the sellers came in and started selling. And again, what's even more beneficial is when you can see a candle like this. If we ever close below a candle like that, like we did 2-3 days ago, that can certainly give you more of a bearish sentiment. So, you know, by no means when looking for a bullish trade on Philip Morris the last 2 or 3 days. And I do think that one's going to kind of continue down, but it's really interesting. These are even fun when you find them on broad markets as well, like the indices. It's a little rare for an index to have a perfectly shaved bottom or perfectly shaved top candle, but it can happen. That is the most recent one I can think of on the SPY was right here. So that one, here's another one. And what I like about this one is this is a great example of it actually did gap down, retest, like it fully filled the gap and then rolled over. And again, you had the shaved bottom candle right here. So one last thing about shaved bottom and shaved top candles. So if I have a shaved bottom candle let's say it looks like this. I'll just draw a little bit of an upper shadow, something like that. If I have a shaved bottom bearish candle, and I'll kind of write this in here for you too. If I have a shaved bottom bearish candle, and the stock opens above the close of the bearish day, I do like taking the breakdown below the low of the previous day, prior day. I do like that. So for example, right here, when it took out, it opened above the close, ended up breaking below the low, and it did run for a little bit. This is another candle example right here. It's a little hard to see, so I'll try to zoom in some. I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit. But if I zoom in, so this was a shaved bottom candle. The close was 267.67. The open of this candle was 267.01. So we did open above the high of that shaved bottom candle, only to break lower. So I think that was a good signal. Obviously, here was a gap down with a 3 pennies away from a perfectly shaved top candle. But again, when you get a gap and then the stock forms a shaved bottom or shaved top candle, depending on if it's a bullish or bearish candle, that usually is a really good interpretation that that trend's going to continue, which it did in that situation on SPY. And let me go to a weekly chart because I think there's some shaved candles on a weekly. No, not quite. Because there's not a whole heap ton of them on a general indice. But this is a great one, right? Because that's that was the trapping candle of Trump's election right there. So that bearish shaved top candle, then we gapped up the next day, or the next week, I'm sorry. And again, here's a shaved bottom candle. And again, we never even went lower. We actually gapped up the next day. So again, with shaved bottom candles, that sometimes can often lead to the exhaustion of the move. If it's a shaved bottom candle, you'll see a lot of exhausted moves at that point. Here's another beautiful shaved top bullish candle right here. And you can see the retest that followed suit. So I hope this helps you a little bit with your timing and the overall candle sentiment. I think this will be a really beneficial video to watch as many times as you can. It's obviously entirely free. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. These candle patterns are great if you can use them on intraday charts as well. Let me just hop in really quick to SPY and note that I have not traded the SPY today at all. But what I'm looking for is seeing if I can find any shaved bottom or shaved top candles on the 5-minute. Here's a shaved bottom right here. Beautiful. So we have a shaved bottom candle right there. And again, look at the retest. So you could have said, all right, I'm gonna get in bearish right below that candle. All right, you could have done that and it would have worked. It would have worked really, really well, actually. But since it was a shaved bottom, you probably could have said, okay, well, I think it's gonna retest a little bit anyway, so let me just do a little bit of a higher entry. I'll still put my stop loss up there, but a shaved bottom candle, again, to repeat, is not bullish. Okay, and very often we'll get lower lows. If it doesn't, that's a very bullish signal. So if you get a shaved bottom candle and then it never goes lower, never, just breaks higher, that's a very bullish signal. Because that means that the bears exhausted themselves. They sold as hard as they could, as fast as they could, and they couldn't get any direction. They couldn't get any additional movement, so they kind of lost out on that. So that would again have been a good limit sell, one that you would have expected for a retest to happen. So let's say you did enter right below the low of that shaved bottom candle, the stop up there. These upper candles and these retests would not have freaked you out, because you were comfortable and expected that retest to occur because it is a shaved bottom candle. Tony says, do you want to touch on Marubozu's too, since it plays in shaved bottom, shaved tops, or is that a different video? Great question. So we can totally get to that. Marubozus have very similar sentiment, and it's kind of your perfect candle, realistically. So when you have a Marubozu candle, so if you have a bullish candle, that's a bullish Marubozu, and a bearish Marubozu is something like this. Those candles, textbook, have no shadows at all. And the sentiment is very similar. Because when you get a Marubozu candle, so this is a bearish Marubozu, and this is a bullish Marubozu candle, the sentiments are very strong. You are going lower or you are going higher when you get a Marubozu candle. Just know that it depends on what time frame. So for example, if it's a 5-minute chart, right, we probably will break up, retest it, and then continue. So a stop below, sorry, that's a bearish one, my bad. 1 second. So you'll break down, retest, and continue down, but your stop should obviously go above that candle. So again, if you're looking at on a 5-minute, that does look like a Marubozu candle right there that's bearish. And with bullish, same thing. What I love is if this is on a daily chart. So again, if this is a daily Marubozu and we gap down the next morning, I'm gonna immediately buy it. So I'm gonna start buying that gap down. If I have a very strong Marubozu, I'm gonna immediately start getting in bullish, and my stop's gonna be right here. So Marubozus very frequently are 10 out of 10. They're the strongest candles that you can get in that direction, and they're very rare. Really rare. Unless you go to like a 1-minute chart, I mean, you can get a lot of Marubozus. I say that, there's probably not any on this 1-minute chart. Like here's a bearish Marubozu candle on a 1-minute on SPY. And I mean, a perfect candle, and we broke lower. We did retest, but yeah, we went lower. If we get Marubozu candles, it's super frequent that if it makes a lower low or makes a higher high, depending on if it's a bullish or bearish candle, you do have continuation in that direction. It is a super strong pattern for sure. Let me go over to, let's go look at Boeing. I'm just picking a random company to see if I can find a Marubozu candle. They're not super common. That's the thing is, again, because it takes a perfect shadow, I'm sorry, a perfect open and a perfect close. Here's one right here. So this is not textbook. All right, textbook, you're gonna have exactly the same numbers from both the high and the low. But that is a wonderful example of a Marubozu. So the open and the high, low and the close. So the open and the low should be almost the exact same. So again, a Marubozu candle, I believe Marubozu is spelled M-A-R-A-B-O-Z, oh, it's not, I'm not typing. M-A-R-A-B-O-Z-U, Marubozu. And this is a bullish Marubozu. So this candle is a shaved bottom and shaved top bullish candle. This one particular. So Marubozu doesn't have to be bullish. It can be bearish or bullish, but it's a candle with no wick, no discernible shadow at all. Very strong. Very strong candles. This is kind of a Marubozu. So you can see a little bit of an upper shadow, a little bit of lower shadow. We can visually see that. And it did retest. So did this one, right? We did have a little bit of a pullback. But if I see a Marubozu, I don't expect a big pullback. Oftentimes, when I get a really large candle, right? Because again, it's not about the size of the candle necessarily. Most Marubozus are pretty big in general, but it's not necessarily about the size. Like if it's a candle like this one right here, I certainly would have expected a retest on that, which we did get. Same thing with this one. But if I get a nice, normal, kind of cool size Marubozu, I will expect a retest, but just not nearly a large one. Usually like 10 to 20% inside the candle, and then it will continue. But I really don't try to get like halfway into the candle like I will on a normal large candle. You know, say for example, this one. You know, so this one, not a Marubozu, very close. It was a good gap and go on Boeing, and we did retest. And we retested about 20% of that candle. Trying to find another good big bullish candle. Here's a perfect one right here. So this one on Boeing, obviously you can see a massive, strong, huge, long day bullish candle. Not a Marubozu, has an upper and lower shadow. And on a candle like that, I very frequently set my entry about halfway into the candle with a stop below the candle, and I'm looking to get in on a retest. What's really cool is as soon as I'm looking at this chart, I immediately also noticed this shaved bottom candle right there. So that was a shaved bottom candle that really would have, if I had my stop, if I took that trade bullish, I have my stop here. Once that shaved bottom candle comes in, I put my stop either below the low of this guy, or I just put it right below the low of that shaved bottom, because there's really at that point no reason for it to take out that low. And again, then you get perfect. You get a beautiful retest gap right here, which of course we retested. Then you get a bullish gap and go with the shaved bottom candle. We continued higher. Then you had a retest gap right here, which of course we retested. And you got a bullish gap and go. And you got a shaved bottom candle right there, and we continued higher. So yeah, very beautiful stuff. Any other questions? That was a very good question, Anthony. Appreciate you asking. Some of these candles, again, they can be a little bit easier to find on less expensive stocks because it just doesn't require them to move that much. But again, if you do find a good, I'm trying to see if there's any on Micron Technology. This is just one on my watch list. No, don't see any at this particular moment in time. What about Facebook? I'm just looking for shaved top, shaved bottom candles. And again, that's the cool part is you don't get them super frequently. So here's a good one right here on Facebook. You had two bearish candles in a row, and then it gapped down, almost a shaved bottom candle. Gapped down into a shaved bottom bullish candle. So once that candle closed, and it did have almost a perfect shaved bottom, so there's a little bit of a shadow there, but if I just hide all the drawings, you can barely see it. So for $127.03 was the open, $126.85 was the low. Very close to a perfect shaved bottom candle. Again, visually, we can see that it does look like one. Same with this candle right here. This actually is open, almost a perfect Marubozu. So almost a perfect Marubozu. Again, hovering over the candles, looking at the open, high, low, and close, we can tell it's not an exact Marubozu because again, the open and the low should be the exact same, and the high and the close should be the exact same. They're close, not exactly correct. But we can see we did retest that candle, and then we did continue higher. So the fact that we closed yesterday below the low of that candle and we're retesting that today tells me unequivocally that Facebook's going to come back down to test this low on the November 20th candle, about 127. Doesn't have to happen today or tomorrow, but it's going to happen. Beautiful. Any other questions? Robert says, just a matter of time before we get a new low on the SPY. Here's a 15-minute chart. Looks like it, man. This is the 15-minute time frame. You have a really nice pennant pattern. And again, the bears are in control right now. And that's kind of what we've been waiting on. So during this presentation, this is pretty much all the market's been doing is just kind of chopping sideways. So I guess it's a perfect time to turn off the webinar and see if we can break down lower. But for those who are watching, please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me know if you have any questions. Reach out to me and email me any questions that you have. My email address is jeremy@reallifetrading.com. My mission with Real Life Trading is to enrich lives. And my mission in life is to enrich lives with mentally liberating education. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for being a part of the Real Life Trading community. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to share it with your friends and family, anyone else who wants to learn more about candlesticks. Because if you can learn candlesticks, folks, this is the language of the charts. If you can learn the language of the charts, you will become a more profitable trader. All right, friends from around the world, thanks for tuning in. You rock, and until next time, love life, live life, and trade it. Bye.